Hello, everyone, and welcome to Table Crashers, not Geek Spiel on Air, which I've been trying to say for the past 25 minutes. My name is Chris Walters, aka Tiny Rhino, and we are here to talk with Phoebos. Phoebos, you are Phoebos Stergiou. You are a UK designer, correct? Hi, good. And we're here to talk about your game RollQuest, and that is currently on Kickstarter, correct?
RollQuest is on Kickstarter. It's just been a week since we've gone live, pretty much.
Right, and you are funded in 7 days.
Correct. We're exactly 7 days. So yeah.
Good. And from what I'm hearing from the birdies in my ear is that by $1. So how does that feel to kind of have that that goal achieved with the funding piece hitting your 100%?
Really good. I mean, we decided to keep quite a modest funding goal because we wanted to have some interesting stretch goals that we're trying to achieve, and I think now we're in a position where we can start hitting some of our stretch goals, which is quite exciting. So yeah, it's a good position to be in. In Hercules Game Studios.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things I want to talk about is this is Table Crashers, a PG-13 stream, a part of Geek Spiel, where we sit here and interview a game designer and then play their game. So here in a few minutes, we're going to crash a table. We're going to start this little interview process here. But I wanted you all to know also that in Twitch chat, you are able to participate and kind of send your questions in, make comments, laugh at us. This is going to be a very interactive game, and I'll let Phoebos talk a little bit about RollQuest here in a second. But make sure that if you have any questions, have any comments, want to laugh at Gil the entire time, feel free to show those laughter and emotions and questions in our Twitch chat. So Phoebos, tell us a little bit about how you got started in board gaming and design, and what was the inspiration for RollQuest?
So these are two very different questions, because the way we started was not actually RollQuest. So Alex and I, who is my partner in crime, we've been playing board games and designing kind of various types of board games for quite a long time. But the first one that we said, thing that we really want to publish, was After London. So there's a game that we built which is called After London, and it's a steampunk post-apocalyptic area control kind of story-based game. One we built, but we haven't actually published that yet. The other thing to say about us, we're a group of friends that we play with who have been thoroughly playtesting RollQuest for the last months, into role-playing games. So we have our group and we gather and we play role-playing games. And something has been getting in the way of our role-playing games recently, and that's life. So, you know, a bunch of us have children. It's quite hard to get everyone. And I don't know, I was talking about this quite recently. They are so bad decision makers. It's like, should we enter this door or that door? Let's talk about it for 5 hours. So yeah, and this is exactly the reason we haven't been playing so much recently. So we thought, can we make a very short, simple game that gives us some of the experience of the role playing, and we kind of try to just construct that experience as like the campaign planning and deciding what you want to do and interacting with the world, which are great. But one of the things that we remember are some of these epic moments, like when a character dies, or when someone is, you know, you're wearing something that's completely inappropriate with the setting, and you're going to talk to an innkeeper trying to get something from them, and they're not giving it to you, and they have some sort of weird personality thing. And this is kind of where the magic happens, and the things you talk about for weeks. All the game around those interactions, to just create these interactions and bring people's creativity into the table, if that makes sense.
Nice, nice. Yeah, funny you mentioned that because we just had a session last week on GSOA where Geek Spiel on Air, where we talked about DMing 101 and what was the fun part for folks, and that was bringing those characters to life and having an opportunity to, get into the quirks and the background and the, role play that character, that personality, those interactions. And yeah, it sounds like this is something you all really looking to harness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, now you all have hit 100%. Tell us a little bit about your stretch goals and what was your kind of philosophy on utilizing stretch goals? Because we've had a lot of folks who talk about, doing things that are, expansions and cards and things like that, but also some that are just component upgrades and things. So what was your all's philosophy around that?
What we did as well. So first of all, we wanted to make sure that the base game has everything that is required to be a good game with a good amount of replayability and everything. So everything that is in the stretch goals area is need per se, but it will make the game slightly more fun. So we've decided to add a few more characters. So although these characters are not needed because you're not necessarily going to be playing with more people, you could just gives you a bit more options in terms of the characters. We've got in the stretch goals, and like you said, we also have some improved components which just make the game slightly nicer, which, by reaching a higher amount of money that we gathered, it actually allows us to do that, be kind of commercially viable.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, just know that anytime you have coin components, if you can ever upgrade those to metal pieces, Gil will immediately back your project and be your friend. So we have two questions here. I want to first start with what caused you, in Hercules Game Studios to make the choice to kind of shelf the steampunk game, the Post London?
It's a very good question. It is a much more complicated game, and although we really like it and it's close to our hearts, felt that it wouldn't be the right decision for that to be our very, very first game that we launch. Although both RollQuest and After London are, I both like them equally. I think that it's more complexity. It has 4 miniatures in the game as well, which we've already designed, but that means there's kind of more machine work, etc. There's a lot more cost. So it's a higher risk thing, like a high risk project. All would be higher and everything. So we thought RollQuest just is easier to bring in first. We're just having so much fun with it at the moment that I was wondering whether that was the right decision or not, but just it's been really fun in the last few months.
Well, that's part of it, right? You're having a great time with it. You're enjoying the process. One of the things we've heard from our designers and developers often is that Kickstarter programs, these processes of getting through those 30 days are just arduous, and they're difficult, and they're time consuming, and they're exhausting. Folks need a break afterwards. And so, yeah, why, if it, it's fun and enjoyable, it helps give you a recharge. If you all feel afterwards that you have the confidence to really succeed on, this kind of game that, feels very low threshold and fun and easy to do, then, it gives you the confidence, I think, to move on to that next step. And so again, I call it Post London, but I meant After London. Sounds like a really great, this is a stepping stone for that.
Yeah, absolutely. But it started off like that, but now it's gone to the point where it's so much more than just a stepping stone. It's a project that we're really excited about.
That's great. The other question we had so far tonight is how many cards are in the deck?
Knowledge now. There's a few decks, right? So first of all, we have the characters, and there's 6 characters, 1 for every player. And there's a mix of characters. There's some characters who are kind of everyday characters, like a mayor, etc. And then you have some more special characters, like the necromancer, who is kind of one of the most popular characters. Then you have the locations, which is, we have 3 locations, which is the minimum you need to play. We have the market, the town hall, and the tavern, and each location has some special effects. And then we have two decks of cards, treasure cards, which, let me just, the specific number.
Yeah, we can also jump in on that when we climb into the room here in a second, if that's helpful for you too. So
I don't remember the specific number.
It's okay. We'll jump here in the room in a second when we do our talk through our rules. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Any last kind of if you were going to pass on a tip, we've had a lot of these designers and developers come through, and folks that are in our Discord, folks who watch our show, are very excited to kind of create their own game and make their own presence and add to this hobby. So if you were going to give a tip or trick to the new designer community, what is one of the things what pieces of knowledge you'd pass on?
Actually, the moment you said that, something kind of popped into my mind, that I have one thing that I wish I'd done differently. And I think we did it very much with After London, but not at all with Load Quest. We really learned from our mistake. With After London, there was a lot of innovative mechanics, etc. And we were really worried that someone's going to steal our idea. Result, we didn't really share that with enough people. And when we did, we realized that we had done a lot of mistakes, and we kind of went back. And in the end, it made the game better because we had a lot of these iterations, but it was quite long and painful. With RollQuest, I tried to share it with as many people. I didn't care the slightest about anyone stealing my ideas. I just kind of really went for it, and it worked. I don't think anyone would really steal. I mean, we've had some examples where people have done that quite recently, but let's not get into that. And
that's a topic for another day, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't protect yourself if it happens, and you're more at risk if you're a big company rather than a small one. So, in the end of the day, you have so much more to gain by just being open and sharing as much as possible and getting feedback on your game and your ideas, really. So that would be my number one advice that I kind of wish I could go back to myself and give 2 years ago.
Right. Travel back in time. We've got a DeLorean parked out back that you can use later. So
after we smash the table.
Right. Yeah. So we're about to crash the table. So I'm going to let our producer, Matt, flip us over on the screen, do his magic check 1, 2. All right. And so we're on the table. One of the things I'm going to do is let everyone go ahead and introduce themselves. You have some faces here besides my own and Phoebos's that you either haven't seen in a while, and then you see every week. So I'm going to start with the brand new face to our stream, anyways. Is Happy Fun Time Live. Will, hey Will, say hello to everyone.
Hi everybody. How are y'all doing?
I'm sure they're great. They unfortunately don't talk to us right away the time.
They should talk to us more.
We're just a bunch of people just sitting here waiting for people to talk to us. So
That's a job.
And Happy Fun Time Live, Will, you have a stream of your own, and that's actually kind of how you got connected to us, is joining us, being kind of a friendly face in the streaming world.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been doing it for about this September will be about a year that I'm streaming board games with video games mixed in.
Right.
Prior to that, I did video game streaming off and on when I had free time, which without a schedule, and I think you guys know this, without a schedule, if you stream, you're not really going to hit any success. You have to stick with the regular schedule.
Right. You got to have that consistency. You have to develop that fan base, and I think that takes, creating a fan base and a population that's here to support you. So
It does. It does.
It does. And it sounds like you're actually going to hop on your stream right after us, and I think we've got a special plan for you here at the end of the stream.
Yeah,
Jason,
I'm a glutton for punishment, you know.
That's how it works, right? Jason, Dr. PT0. Jason, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
And you are typically on you are a tremendous fan of our Table Crusher show. You have been on since very beginning on in our life of streaming, but we've actually more recently seen you in the Minions Have a Boo campaign. So how has that been going for you?
It was going really well until I had to miss due to a work obligation, and then I come back and I find my character is like in jail and being abused by guards, and it's just really a horrific event. But he's planning his escape and revenge on all the party who left him to run. So.
Okay. And, one of the things I also want to shout out is Royal was a game that showed up on Table Crashers. So, one of our first games we actually highlighted on the stream.
Yes. Yeah, it was a great opportunity, actually. So I think, Phoebos, you'll enjoy the opportunity to play. If nothing else, if you want more feedback on a game, these guys are pretty abusive on systems. So if there was any minor flaw at all that could be exploited, they will find it.
Yes, we do have a tendency to do that. So last but certainly not least, unlike Matt, who is always least, is Gil. Gil, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Oh, great.
Sorry, I'm all agitated, counting down. Gen Con
you're agitated?
Corner. Oh, yes. I'm like caffeinated today.
Oh, okay. And I see you're in one of your coveted hats. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you see me at Gen Con this coming month, come say hi. Be awesome. I'll be happy to say hello.
Right. Take pictures with you.
I will take pictures with you. Right. I'll be most of the time at the Dice Tower booth, so.
Yeah. And Gil, I think you're the only one from Geek Spiel that is heading to Gen Con this year, right?
So far, yes.
Yeah, maybe we can convince someone else to join you. Okay.
I'll be bunking with Brian Stern. He has a new game, so I'll get some insight.
All right. So maybe we'll get to hear more about that soon. So we're at the table. Phoebos, why don't you go ahead and do a little bit of a role playthrough for us, and then it sounds like we're going to do a couple of turns with this game. We're going to run through it a couple of times, but why don't you kind of teach us the rules real quick?
So, like I said, is a kind of light social game where you play roles and you talk to each other in role. You have 6 characters, so each one of us has selected a character. The innkeeper, the mayor, the blacksmith, the knight, the town wizard, and the necromancer, and each one of us will be kind of playing one of these characters. Played in 2 different rounds, and in each round we'll be paired up, and we'll have a 1-minute role-play interaction where we have to act out our character. So, I could be the knight, and Will could be the mayor, and we have to talk to each other for a minute and act the characters. That's kind of just the basis. On top of that, a third character will introduce the scene with a 1-sentence what's happening that they just come up with, and we have some examples and ideas for that. Based on the location we're in. So if the mayor and the town wizard meet at the tavern, it could be that the mayor is visiting the town wizard at the tavern where he's drinking to complain about the fact that he hasn't paid taxes in years or whatever, and then you get started. So that's kind of how the game happens during the game. On top of all that, you also have a secret personality. So you have these role-play cards, which I'll explain how you get them in a minute. And you take the role-play cards, and then we'll have 3 words on them. These words, and put it down, face down in front of you before the discussion. And they will have personality things like honest, or greedy or someone who spends a lot of money, all sorts of stuff, and then you decide the one. You just have to act that way. In the end of the 1 minute interaction, the other players try to guess what your personality was. Right? Both you and they win goblin heads. So you see there are a few stacks of goblin heads in the middle of the game, and you just gain goblin heads by doing that. Game, which is 2 rounds, the player with the most goblin heads wins the game. So you basically win by role-playing and acting your character as well as you can. Yeah, so that's really the main premise.
Okay.
I can talk a little bit also about how the round goes.
All right.
Everyone. So in each round, we start from one of the players, and what we do is we just move our meeples into one of the 3 locations that are available. There can be no more than 2 people per location. So we'll all just move in, and once we've moved in, then we have to do the role play interaction.
Real quick question.
Sure.
Phoebos, I see that the third one says gain 1 extra goblin head this turn. Is that even if you don't gain a single goblin head for guessing right or being the one that got somebody to guess right?
You just guess. You by just going there, you just get 1 extra goblin head.
Awesome. Cool.
I know that we have different. I'm not even.
I see you sharking over there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. What if? So we have 5 players right now. What happens if one of us is left solo?
So that player will be the last one to play. So everyone else will do the role play, and then that player will choose one of the other 4 players to move into the location before the round ends. Interaction with them. So effectively, one of the other 4 players will get 2 interactions. Usually you tend to choose. It's a tough decision because you have to choose between the person who you think you're gonna do well with, but also you don't want to get the one who's leading because you don't want to.
Then you're giving them more goblin heads, right?
Yeah, right. Awesome.
I mean, I think I could explain a few more rules, or we can just go into it and I explain it as we go along.
I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, let's head into it. So you said
there's now a published rule book, so I can't change the rules just so that I win because you'll be able to check that afterwards.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. I've been.
I'm sorry. Regardless of the published rules, that's the prerogative of the designers on Table Crashers.
Yeah, Jason has a tendency to change his rules for Royal constantly, regardless of what's published. So
only on Table Crashers. To be clear.
All right.
Okay, so do we go all at once and we place Phoebos?
So we start. I think let's. My personal favorite rule for the first player is whoever had a character die in an RPG most recently.
Oh, that was last night in that beta I ran.
Wait. Say that again. Who was the first player?
The person with a character in an RPG that has died most recently. Will said last night.
I'm too good to never die, so I'll never be first.
Gil's PCs are too good.
Yeah, they're torchbearers.
Nice.
Who plays first, and then we go clockwise.
Okay.
All right. So I am the town wizard, and I will choose to place. I'm going for that juicy goblin head. So I'm going to place in the tavern there.
Give you a goblin head. One thing. Do you guys know how to draw cards?
Yeah. I think
right click on the deck.
Right click and 2 of each from the decks.
Oh, everybody gets 2 of each.
Yeah, 2 of each.
There's actually a way to deal. If one person does it instead of drawing, you can actually deal it.
Here, you all put your cards back. I'll do it here.
So those cards are open, or are they going to be?
They are not. They're in your hand.
Yeah, I think you have to click take rather than.
Yeah, everybody should have. It's 2 of each, right? There we go. There we go.
Exactly.
Now, when do we
So
get to
as you
play
see
these
the cards
treasure
now.
cards?
I think let's keep the treasure cards out of the game for the first round, and then let's introduce them in the second round. It's usually we do that just to kind of keep it a bit.
Another
easier.
question I have is I remember have read that on the interaction, if the word has the color of the player, it gets an extra one.
So you will notice that the backgrounds of the characters are 3 different colors: blue, green, and red. If the word that you roleplay from your personality card matches and the top one is the red one, the middle one is the blue one, and the bottom one is the green one. You know, if I've got a card that says, arrogant, and that's red, and my character is also red, and someone guesses that successfully, I gain 1 extra point. 2 points.
Even if you're not interacting, or only if you are interacting?
Only if you're the one that roleplayed the character, the personality. Is that me? The innkeeper.
Let's see.
Yes. So if we're going clockwise, right?
Clockwise by the table? Yeah, so whoever's yellow.
I'm going to go to the market, which means that I get an extra treasure card, so I will take 1 treasure card.
And you can just click and drag that into your hand. All right. I feel like Will is going to give me the best success here in role playing. So I'm gonna also join him at the tavern and pick up an extra goblin head.
Let's go hang out. Must be
yeah.
fun.
We're
join the old wizard.
The gluttonous mayor over here.
That's a hefty mayor.
Hefty mayor. This individual is very hefty mayor. All right. It looks like so. Who's last? Jason.
It is I, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Clop, 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 clop. I'm entering town.
Nice. I like it.
Very nice.
That's our special effects budget for Table Crashers tonight.
Yeah, that's all we have. We've actually lost all streaming time now because we can't afford it. Thanks. Have a nice day. I'm sorry. I'm reading chat and Matt's heckling me, so it's fine. That's pretty standard for what we do. Okay, so everyone's placed. Phoebos, which location resolves first?
We start from left to right.
Okay.
Skipping the ones with only just 1 player. So we start with the market.
Nice.
So who's in the market?
It's
you and Gil.
Yeah.
It's me. I've decided to visit to the market to buy some stuff for my smith. I have lots
Is
to
it
run
the town wizard and the blacksmith, or the mayor?
It's the blacksmith and whatever you were. Are you the innkeeper?
He is the innkeeper.
It's
Innkeeper and the blacksmith.
Okay, the innkeeper and the blacksmith in the market. Who would like to do their scene introduction? We don't. That's a free for all. We just try to keep kind of balanced.
Jason, why don't you do the intro to start us since you're the solo person?
There you go.
I can't hear you.
Yeah,
trying to make sure I've got the right characters here. So the white character is the
blacksmith.
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 And the yellow character is the innkeeper. So the innkeeper has gone to the market to accost the blacksmith about his cheating ways with his wife.
All right.
Let's mix it up. I am Sir Mix-a-Lot, and we're stirring the pot.
There we go.
Next is
remix.
Both select a personality card from our hands, or a roleplay card from our hands, and place it face down.
And you pick one of the 3 personalities, right?
Oh no, you have to. Why is it going face up? Damn it.
Oh, you got to flip it first.
Hit F.
Press F.
Mouse over it, hit F, and then drag it out.
Let's pretend that sounds reasonable. your hand before you put it down. Okay. So, are we ready? Shall I set the timer?
Sure.
Let's start. Blacksmith, I heard that you've been spending quite a lot of time in my house recently when I'm not there.
What? Your wife needs friends? I'm just a good friend of her. She needs some fixing on her old pots because you don't spend any money giving her new pots. So I was there just scrubbing her pots.
I've been told you're a bit more than just a friend.
Well, friends are friends, even friends with benefits.
It is the benefits that you've been focusing your visits on.
Well, somebody needs to scrub her pots, as I said. You keep too much time scrubbing your countertops instead of taking care of other things.
Point. You know, you do make a compelling argument. All right, we're out of time.
It's always good to keep your pots clean and scrubbed and intact.
So we're out of time.
Okay.
So you first guess which character I was trying to convey, or what kind of personality I was trying to convey.
You seem so calm. Right.
Calm is not exactly the right word.
No, I know. I'm trying to.
You get one guess. So
I get one guess.
Was that? Unless that wasn't your guess, and that was
no. That's not my guess. I was like, I'm trying to think to me that you seemed so calm when you came to my shop, and I was like, I'll say, you are resignated. I don't know.
That wasn't it. So what happens next is then people keep trying to guess going clockwise. So the knight would be next.
Oh, clockwise? You were very reasonable. I think you sounded like a very reasonable person.
I think that's quite a close synonym to what I have. So I'm gonna flip it. It's agreeable.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So because it's the same color as my character, I get 3 goblin heads.
Oh, so you get to say, "Oh, that's close enough," because it's your game. I see. Like he would say, like you seem very unorthodox. Yeah, that's pretty close to agreeable. Yeah.
I mean, it's a judgment call, but I think in this case it is relatively.
I mean, I think that was.
And it would be very embarrassing if I win 0 points in my own game.
It would be embarrassing.
And yet another Table Crasher tradition.
Right, Phoebos, I will tell you, that traditionally designers lose their own game on our show. So
I lose my own game all the time, so I'm not.
So you don't care.
Around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Phoebos, do you get to guess Gil's card?
Now it's my turn to guess Gil's card. So you were going on about how someone else needs to do it because I haven't been doing it. You were pretty relaxed about the whole thing. Guilty, but I don't think that was it. Guilty.
Make sure I got the right. No, that's not it.
Did you have to check your card and make sure that the word that you were thinking was on it? the chance that you role played the whole wrong thing the whole time.
I was doing exactly that. No, that's not the word.
The next person to guess would be the mayor. So who's the mayor?
I am.
That gluttonous mayor.
Yeah, the gluttonous mayor. That's our. Just know that's going to be my character if it ever comes up. Gil was very focused on cleaning pots. I mean, he was using a lot of euphemism.
If that's what you got from that conversation, I'm sorry. We need to have a chat after this.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna say that I don't know how to say speak in euphemisms other than speak in euphemisms.
Double entendre.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Gil was being naughty.
Yes, Gil? Is naughty the word?
It was a hard word that I picked. No. Well, it's a legitimate call close.
No. Okay.
No, that's not it.
So it's not it.
Okay, not naughty.
So Jason, guess next.
No.
Yeah.
So, and just because looking through the deck, obviously, are all the words adjectives, or are some of them, as Chris just alluded to, he wanted to say double entendre or euphemisms, so euphemistic. Would that be the phrasing that you would put on these, or are some like short phrases?
To be honest, I don't think we have euphemistic, but we have some rare examples where we have a short phrase rather than the word.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
It's generally a single word, like 90% of the time.
So it went to the mayor, and then it goes to who next?
It's go to me. I think he's just fastidious. Let's go with that.
Gil, fastidious. Was that your word?
That was not my word.
So I guess it goes to me, right?
I have to say, I didn't do a good job with my word.
And I mean, so it's just like a shot in the dark. I have no idea. I was gonna say cleanly, because of all the references to scrubbing the pots and the granite.
No.
And the countertop.
And the countertop.
He was scrubbing the countertop. That's why I was scrubbing his wife's pot.
You really took a bottle brush to that house, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So what happens now? Because none of us have gotten. Do we just keep going?
So no points are awarded for this one,
okay.
Unfortunately.
I have to know. What did you choose?
Oops, there it is. Flamboyant, which I didn't do a good job.
Flamboyant. Got it.
I wasn't very.
Never guessed that.
No.
It's hard to be flamboyant and a blacksmith at the same time.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but you were just flamboyant describing it.
Right.
That's true.
So we move on to the tavern then. I'm gonna move this to the discard pile.
I'm gonna suck on this game. I can tell you right now.
I think the coolest part is, I mean, after you play it a few times, then you have like a list in your head that you expect.
Right.
So I think that it creates an advantage, and I think it would actually spin up. If somebody's more versed in it, it'll actually spin up and be maybe a bit more fun because they know. But I like this fresh play of it, because you really, the people who are acting out the stuff really have to push it forward. You know what I mean? They have to really
commit
that personality forward. But
it's easy to forget with everything going on.
It is.
The only thing, so I agree you have an advantage, but there are about 130 words.
Right.
So it's I at the end of making cards, I struggled to find personalities that I didn't have a synonym for.
Right.
I think
it turns out there's only 140 personalities in existence.
Really? That's it. Yeah, there goes. Invent a new personality.
Right.
But I mean, I wasn't saying that it would necessarily give an advantage, but I think that if you sit down at the table with a group of people who have played this, 10 or 20 times together, that it would actually continue to enrich itself, because as they sort of pick up on each other's way that they play the personalities, and I think it makes
the inside jokes that come with that.
Yeah, and also I think the role playing would become more natural, just like in a regular role playing group, which I think is really cool about this. Is initially when you go in a role playing group, you have that sort of timidness, but once you get used to the personalities and the people you're playing with, it breaks that. Okay, so what do we do next? I'm excited.
Will, I think you and I are acting out a scene.
Oh, we are. Mm.
And what
Right, it skips the single player, right, Phoebus?
It does, and they play in the end.
Okay. So the mayor and the town wizard at the tavern. Who gets to set the? Do we pick cards now, or do we set the scene first?
First set the scene, then pick cards.
Okay.
Okay. So who's going to set the scene for us?
Do it. I don't mind doing it if no one wants
So
to.
it's mayor. Is the mayor and who else is in there?
The town wizard. Gil, do you have some?
This one, I think we should do this whenever we're squaring off for like the role play. Just move your mayor up.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
we actually naturally do this when we play the game on paper on the table, but it's the Tabletopia. It's not.
Yeah, we'll just move them forward.
Yeah, we can do that. So it's the mayor and the town wizard having a conversation.
So the mayor arrives at the tavern and walks straight to the wizard and say,
Oh,
really? That was the lead-in.
So the joke here is that we just walk into a room together. That's the scene.
The wizard and a town mayor walk into a bar.
Right, so this is my role play.
the wizard was sitting already at the tavern, and the mayor walks in straight to the wizard.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
That adds a lot more richness to the scenario. The fact that the
me. Okay. Yeah. Set the scene and
I forgot to
scene.
put the timer on.
Ready? Go ahead and go, Phoebus.
2, 1, go.
Town wizard, I have something to tell you.
Yes.
I am very, very impressed with you. I mean, I can't imagine all the things you do for this town. I'm just so excited to be here and be in your presence. And you know what? I want to buy you a drink for how inspirational you are to our town.
Oh, well, if you buy one for me, then I must buy one for you.
Oh, no, sir. I must set you up on this pedestal of greatness that you are. We would be nowhere without you. The goblins would attack and we would be... I wish I could do such a thing. I wish I had the skills. I'm just a portly old man.
All things must be even, sir.
I am not you. I wish I could be you. I just can't live up to that.
I will accept your gift if you allow me to return the gift in kind.
I don't think I can do such a thing for such a great and marvelous town wizard.
Well, you must.
All right, out of time.
All right.
So, Chris, do you want to guess first?
Yeah, sure. I want to say that he was Will was being fair.
Ding,
like fair or equal.
Ding. No, yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Fair.
So, and what color was the word?
Green.
Well,
green. And so I get an extra point.
So you both get 2 goblin heads.
Mm-hmm.
And Will, you also get a treasure card.
Ooh.
Oh, and we both get a treasure card?
Always get a treasure card for guessing or being guessed as well. It's a way to kind of give a few more treasure cards.
So I get 2 goblin heads, right? We're not playing with the special ability on the bottom of my card. I don't get another extra
for this
one?
round, no.
Okay, got it. Okay, so that, and then I get an extra treasure card. Cool. All right.
Will, what did you think I was?
Okay, so I'm thinking. I mean, you're giving a lot of praise, so I'm gonna say, I guess suck up in a way. Suck up, is that no?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay, pass it.
So which color?
So I was the one that just guessed, and I did not get it correct. So who goes next in line for me?
Innkeeper, I believe.
Is it always
it's
clockwise?
Me guessing.
Okay.
Were you generous?
No.
offering to buy him a drink.
No, I was not generous.
There were a few different things coming through, but I won't say anything else because does it go on to the blacksmith
It's
next?
Gil. Yeah, Gil. What was I, Gil?
Were you praiseworthy or noteworthy?
Showing praise is basically what you're saying, right, Gil? His character was showing praise.
Be commendable, or like
yeah.
That's close, but I don't think it's quite there.
so not noteworthy. Okay.
No, I wouldn't say it. Yeah, I don't think you're quite.
Awe-inspiring. Okay, I got my guess already.
So is it to me then? After
Yes,
the
you,
yeah.
Jason. Jason, you're my only hope.
I don't think kiss ass is a British term, so let's try complimentary.
No, I don't think it works. I don't think it's quite there. It was envious.
Oh,
envious.
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
No.
Yeah,
Wow,
I tried to do that in the middle there, where I did a little bit of that.
When I think envious, I think on the bad way, not in the good way.
There's a lot of compliment throwing. So if you were envious, I would be more like, oh, you know what? On second thought, I'm buying that drink. Like angry response to it. But
everybody likes you because you're the wizard.
There you go. That's it.
I get that, but I really didn't. Yeah, I just like the wanted to be. Envious doesn't necessarily have to be negative.
That's true. That's very true.
Really? Because I think isn't envious always tied into jealousy?
Jealous is kind of a bit less negative than envious.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay.
yeah,
I see
it's
that.
like
the 7 deadly.
Okay.
my bad.
Might be, but this is really cool because it also now. What kind of hurdles do you think does this create? And this is like a sort of off question. Sorry to do this, but
that's good. That's what it's about.
What kind of hurdles do you think this creates for like language barriers? Because sometimes you have a friend who is foreign or not a first English speaker. What do you think? Some of these words are actually pretty descriptive and beyond the stuff you learn as in the second language. Have you run into anything like that or any problems with that?
Actually, because
Gil's over there. Go ahead.
Well, a lot of the playtesting we did was in Greece.
Okay.
I've played with a few people from France or Germany. It is a game where there is a degree of language dependency. You can't really play it we generally let people Google words during the game because it's not like you have 500 words. You have if we're in a group, if someone says the word in another language, we usually accept that as a right answer as well. Because maybe I don't know envious, but I know the word in Greek, so that we take that as an acceptable answer. We are hoping to do some translations, but at this size right now.
One quick suggestion: QR code on the bottom of each card of the roleplay cards, and they scan it with their phone, and it brings up all the definitions that are on the card.
That's a very good idea.
That's like on the fly, like really quick for people to do that. And there's even English speakers that I know that would still have trouble with some of the words. So that's why.
I know they would confuse like envy. They would think that wasn't like a negative thing.
Right.
Right. That sounds.
I would
definition in chat right now.
I always thought envious was a bad thing, so I didn't argue about it. Being a foreigner myself. So
I'm just an idiot, is what Gil's trying to.
But I'm loving all of this because there's also skill development. Like if you're doing this with your kids, and especially like some of these stuff will be on the SAT. I know 100% some of the stuff will be on the SAT. So these descriptors and stuff, and really honing in on what, really forcing that beyond just like a feeling in role play. There's a specific feeling that you're conveying is really cool as well.
Right.
So
yeah, I like the QR code. I think there's a lot of games that have a lack. Like there's a lot of games for people with hearing problems stuff, but there's not a lot of games for vision impaired kids, or in general, and a phone and a little headphones, you could listen to the words in there without everybody listening.
Yep.
And I'm not saying for your game in general, but I can see this game being a good game to play because interaction, the person is not so dependent on everything that is going on in there.
One other note on Gil, when he brought a visual, just as FYI, red-green color, most common colorblind, I believe, that you're going to encounter with board game players. So you might want to think about adding symbols in front of the red-green.
Absolutely. So that's some feedback we've already had. So in the final version, we'll have some symbols as well.
Cool. Very cool. I'm just throwing it out there. I've actually, when in a lot of conversations that I have through what we do on our channel, the color blindness things comes up a lot because it's a lot more common than people really realize.
Right.
So
really people think the symbols are redundant, and they are not. Even if you're not color blinding, just as a quick look around, it's
right.
Well, you're never quite sure. Not everyone uses the same reference points when determining an object. And so having multiple symbols, color, actual physical symbol, a number, a descriptor, all those represented if the card allows because of space considerations.
Correct.
It helps a lot.
Sorry, I didn't mean to slow the pace down. I'm
No,
loving
you're
this.
okay. That's what we're about.
This is good discussion. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. So we move on to the last person, right? To the knight, Jason.
Yes, and I need to choose someone, correct?
Yeah.
So I believe in Gil.
I don't know.
So I want Gil to join me at the town hall.
Okay.
You've heard about the innkeeper's wife, I know.
I did.
The question is, does Phoebus, does Gil get to draw another card, another role play card to choose from? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is another reason, another way to make it slightly more difficult for that player that gets twice.
What happens
we'll
when you
refresh
run out
all
of,
our cards before the second round, but yeah.
Okay, so you get when the round ends, you get more role playing cards then.
You draw back so that you have two like when you started.
Okay.
Cool.
The other thing which is important to let you know at this point is that you're now meeting in the town hall. Naturally, because of bureaucracy and other reasons, things in the town hall take a bit longer. So you will have 2 minutes for this interaction as opposed to 1.
That's pretty cool. Do you guys mind if I set the stage for this one?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, with a character name like Happy Fun Time, this is.
So there is a hole in the thatch roof for the town hall, and you guys have both been called to repair it.
All right, Phoebus, give him a countdown.
I think they need to select cards first.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, my bad.
The timer ready at 2 minutes. All right, sounds like we're ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Blacksmith, what are you doing here? I'm on a quest to fix this roof. I am duty bound to do this quest.
Well, why you been in the quest? I've been actually fixing the damn roof. You should be using these muscles of yours and try to hold some of the beams while I'm hitting here.
There are preparations, there are oaths to take before you begin a quest. I have been at chapel trying to get myself prepared to uphold this quest.
I care nothing.
Your willy-nilly little patch job.
Oh, I just love to see people complaining. I love to see them suffering. I love when they're in pain. Why would I care for what you're feeling? I'm fixing the damn roof, and you just carrying the shield around. Actually, I see some dings in there, and I will remember this conversation when you need to fix that shield of yours.
Sir, you are the worst kind of scoundrel. I am bound with my code of chivalry, to meet you on the dueling field. And I will not...
Don't be fooled by
the dents
this.
in my shield are going to be knocked out with your head.
Don't be fooled by my guns, those big arms. But I'm a lady, just I want you to know.
Well,
Haven't you
what?
looked at my
Wait.
face?
You're a lady as well? This is a
Look-
very progressive
look at the
town,
card.
I have to say.
I'm a lady blacksmith.
This is
I'm
amazing.
a damsel in distress.
Well, I save damsels in distress.
Well, then
What
I'm not in
distress are you
distress
under?
anymore.
Now listen, it's no, all hands off. I just ask for a favor. I'm a very chaste knight.
I love to see people skirmish. I love to see their suffering like that.
You aren't a very nice
I'm having
lady.
fun.
You're out of time.
Oh, God.
Interesting.
Before we go on to the guessing part, the Young James Games, thank you for your sub. We appreciate it.
Young James actually streams alongside of me.
Alright.
He works with me on stream. He'll be with me at
Alright.
PAX Unplugged with you guys too.
Oh,
So
Nice. Yeah, we'll get to meet everyone there.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't really know what happened there. Again, a call for progressivism.
So they each guess each other, try to guess each other. Who goes first? Does it matter, Phoebus?
Jason, do you want to go first?
Oh. Gil I thought I had him pinned down, and then he seemed to be squirming all over the place with that mercurial personality of his. I just think he's just not a nice lady. That's all. I can't summarize it any other way.
Not nice.
Not nice.
Survey
He's
survey
not a nice
says.
lady.
Survey says. Gil.
Gil, are you not nice?
That's not the word. No.
Who does it go to then?
Go to you, I believe. Will.
I'm gonna say
Next one.
I'm gonna say sadistic Gil.
Yes.
Yeah?
That is
Oh, what's
correct.
sadistic?
Oh.
He was dropping hints like it was his job there.
I thought I was being way too clear about it.
Yeah, it was
going out of my way.
it was like the verbatim definition of sadism.
Oh gosh.
So, Gil, do you want to give it a try to guess? Jason's?
All right. He was trying to go on a quest, and he was being obsessive.
No, not obsessive.
Who does it go to next?
You
Imagine because
again.
the two characters are next to each other.
It goes back to me again.
Yeah, because you're
Wizard.
clockwise.
Honorable.
Honorable. That's it.
Dang it, that was my guess.
Yes.
Reward points for the previous one.
Yeah.
Did
So we didn't.
So
take,
So he guessed mine. I get nothing, or I get something for he guessing.
I think he gets 2, right?
Yeah. Well, what color was the word?
It was green.
It was not the right color. No.
So you get 2 goblin heads and 1 treasure card.
And what do I get? The same thing. I'm sorry, cut out there, Phoebus.
For the second one, it's always the person that guessed it and the person that
Acted.
successfully.
Okay. So then.
So
But
I would
since he guessed it, he gets 2 for each of those, right?
Yeah. So I get 4 basically because I guessed both of theirs.
We gotta play those treasure cards. They're hilarious.
So that's coming up.
And we take 1 treasure card if they were successfully guessed as well.
Exactly.
And the person who successfully guessed also takes a treasure card? Yes, Phoebus? Yeah, okay. And I apologize that we're asking. I'm actually doing a little lip reading. You're cutting out a little when you answer us, so I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Okay.
You do.
So was that the first round, right, Phoebus?
If end of the first round, so everyone takes their meeples back.
Okay. Shoop.
Everyone needs to draw enough roleplay cards, so you will have 2.
Okay. And
So
I'm not
whatever is
forced to. I'm not forced to discard the extra treasure cards I gained after the first round. Correct? I get to keep those.
So you keep it, and then if you have one, you draw one more. If you have none, you draw two.
Got it. Perfect.
Now, the player with the least goblin heads plays first.
I have 3.
Is the blacksmith.
It's me. So I will go get that goblin there.
Oh. Oh, really? Okay.
All right, Jason, where are you going?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Phoebus?
Some of these are great.
I'll go with goblin heads.
It's left to right. As long as there's 2 people.
Yeah, so whoever has the second person, so wherever I place, pretty much.
So if he places in the town hall, we'll start in the town hall.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go to the market.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and do something a little different here. It looks like myself and Jason are gonna be doing this scene here in the market, the mayor and the knight. But we want Twitch chat to be able to set the scene. And Ottercat Matt has already apparently set the scene for us. So next scene, the market. Someone tripped and knocked over barrels of apples. So why don't I get angry about that? And Jason, you be the person who tripped, because I'm fat and like apples. I'm a large man. I'm upset that you have squandered the town resources.
Just want to make sure we are now open to cast our treasure cards, right?
So once the roleplay cards are down,
Okay.
then we can cast curses. There can only be one curse per person.
Okay.
And who does that? The other players or the people playing that, right?
Well, you could do it if you're playing, but it wouldn't really be wise because you're only making it more difficult for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Players that do it.
Can I play a treasure card?
Well, you gotta wait till once the role plays hit the table. So there's only one on the table for the night. Once the mayor's hits the table, you could just yell out, "I'm playing a."
I'm playing it because I want to see this happening.
And who are you targeting?
I'm targeting my beloved friend, Chris.
I have a newborn baby
wait.
sleeping next door, and
My
I'm just
friend Chris Walters.
Are you a German blacksmith?
Norwegian.
I will play the Curse of Julius Caesar on Jason.
So let's just to read these out
Oh my
God. I, as the mayor, am I must speak with a singing voice this interaction, and Jason, you get to speak about themselves in the third person.
Which, if folks who know me know I do that anyway, so it's really not a stretch.
Yeah, Jason's in the third person.
All right, so
I'm in a singing voice.
Now, there's quite a lot going on, so remember to act your role play cards amongst everything else.
Phoebus, you're trying to make this real difficult on me.
That's the purpose of the game. I'm just reminding you.
Okay.
All right, so 3, 2, 1, go.
Who has tripped and knocked over my apples?
The knight has no idea where I am, or the knight doesn't know who knocked over the apple. Where's the knight? I don't know what's going on right now. Who's
Clearly,
the
you
knight?
did. You did. You knocked over the apples, and you must pick them up.
No, The knight doesn't. What's an apple? What the knight has no idea where this. The knight was on a quest, and now the knight's looking at apples on the ground. Is that applesauce? What is that?
Who
What's
are
happening
you to question me? You must answer me. Quit acting like an idiot.
The knight doesn't have any idea what you are saying. The knight has a pretty good vocabulary, but you just don't know what's going on here.
Pick up the apples.
Are you asking the knight? Are you talking to the knight?
Pick them up, pick them up, pick them up. I am too good for this. Picking up the apples.
No, I don't think the knight was the one who
pick
knocked
up the apples,
over.
knight.
No,
Pick up the apples, knight.
I don't know who. What?
Right.
What are you doing?
I am too good to do that.
So who wants to guess first?
That was a lot harder. I was also trying not to sing too loud for my kid.
Never go full opera.
it was a little opera because you didn't want me to try and sing anything.
I was hoping for Gilbert and Sullivan, and you were pretty close.
Chris, you want to guess first?
Oh, well, one, I was so focused on singing that I don't really know what happened. Gosh. I'm thinking two things here. This is just me talking out loud. And I want to say Clueless.
That's it's really close depending on how you define clueless. Can you just give me a little explanation as to what you mean by clueless? Unless Phoebos wants to just weigh in on this. He probably knows.
I think if you feel that it's really close, let's just count it. You know, with these things, if he got the idea.
Is he? Yeah, well, I'll wait. If it's
confused.
Oh yeah.
So, no, I didn't mean that as like a clueless, like intentionally clueless. Or just
right.
Yeah, confused. No, that's why. Yeah, I was going like Valley Girl, or were we thinking like someone with dementia? That was the two extremes here.
It sounds like this is your color as well, so you get 3 points and a treasure card.
3 points.
Yeah, because you're color.
Okay, and I just get the two
goblin heads.
Okay, and I also get a treasure, right?
Yeah.
Kudos to your role.
We're in the market. Do we get an extra treasure this turn?
Gain an extra
good point.
treasure.
Treasures all around.
For the whole round?
Treasure.
Okay. Okay. Jason, who do you think I was?
Oh, I was so captivated by the singing.
Yeah, captivated is a word I would use too.
You were pretty demanding through it. So I think I'm leaning towards you're almost belligerent to some degree.
Don't look.
So I'm going to go with belligerent.
No, belligerent is not correct. Let's see. The blacksmith, Gil. What was I?
Egoistic.
What did you say?
Egoistic.
Gil, use a nicer word that I can understand.
Egotistical.
Okay. I just want to say that the word egoistic exists in English.
It does. I'm just not that smart. You're talking about my vocabulary.
Don't do that to us.
I'm a science and math person, not a no. Well, I'm gonna say not quite, but I think it's close enough that if no one else gets it, I would give it to you.
Who's it go to next?
Town Wizard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say prissy or stuck up.
Oh, that's
self-centered.
I think that's I think that's it. I think that's close enough. I think you've got it. I said proud.
Oh, I don't.
Apparently, I'm just really bad at.
Well, I mean, the stuck up thing is like it has more of a positive neutral sense, while stuck up is negative. Proud in a negative way as well.
That's true. And I guess because he acted the way it was just very self-centered, like too proud of themselves to be able to stoop as low as to do something like that. But
I think, given that this is our first game, it makes sense to be a bit more lenient. As you play second, third game, you start becoming a bit more sensitive to the subtle meanings of the words, etc.
See that yeah. So I would, Gil. I would have voted in favor of Gil. I would have voted Gil on the island here.
Yeah,
that's fine. Give it to Gil. Give it to Gil.
Well, either way, I get 3, so I don't get.
Because egotistic is self-centered.
Yeah, that's also a good guess, I would say.
Yeah. So definitely throw it, and it's a better word. So give it to him.
All right, give it to Gil. Gil, take yourself.
The word was just selfish, but it is a good word. So let's just award the points.
Okay, now do I get to collect the extra treasure this round again?
This is so per this was a turn rather than a round. A round is like until everyone plays.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the two of us in the market.
So I'm in the tavern, and who is the white player?
Gil.
I see those goblin tokens creeping more and more from the community pile toward the innkeeper's victory point pile.
I'm gonna make sure that they don't do that.
The right word is creeping or winning, but yeah. In the actual game, we will have 5-point token and 10-point token as well.
Very cool.
Okay.
So that it's a bit more manageable to control your tokens. But for this, I just made lots of goblin heads in order to create havoc on the table.
One other point I'd like to throw out there before you guys start your role play. This is an amazing travel game. I could see this being like if not in America, because we don't take trains in America, but in Europe or anywhere else pretty much in the world, if you're taking a train, a bus trip, or anything like that, this would be the game to take with you. America, it's mostly flights, but like this is something I would play with, my wife on a long flight.
Right. Or like, a hotel lounge,
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're waiting for something.
Definitely.
I get some weird looks, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I get weird
when the singing first comes in.
I get them anyway, so
yeah, exactly. That doesn't change.
Might as well give them a reason.
All right.
So, I'll play cards. Who wants to set the scene?
Well, Matt has a scene for each scenario.
Yeah, it's in chat.
Yeah, so Twitch chat for the tavern has let's just say the tavern is connected to an inn. So the innkeeper is currently serving the bar because, short staff, his person didn't show up, he's a little upset. But the blacksmith was given the wrong drink.
I'm probably going to regret saying this, but this is the time for people to play curses.
Yeah, no, I'm about to play.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I want to play here. Okay, so it looks like for Gil, the curse of intoxication, you must act drunk this interaction, which makes
man,
then,
play mine. Oh.
And then it looks like Phoebos will have the curse of rhyming, and you must speak in rhymes the entire interaction.
Oh, that's good enough for me not to want to. Not that's gotta go. That's gotta happen.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna set the timer. Are we ready?
I think so.
The blacksmith, here is your drink. Sorry, it's the wrong one. This is not white, it's pink.
It's good.
Hey, I think you're giving me the wrong drink. That's not my drink. I should drink my drink. No. But I'll take it. Thank you, but I don't know. I feel so. I don't know if I do anything right. I think everything is wrong. What do you think about me? Do you think I like to have some friends?
For getting your drink wrong, I'm sorry. I will tell you another story. I guess I'll give you another one for free. I'm out of time.
Oh, thanks, Innkeeper, because I never know if I'm, I never know if I'm good enough.
Oh boy.
The rhyming was pretty tough.
Yeah, it was.
Let me take a guess. So I would say it's something to do with like low self-esteem or something like that. But I need to think of the right word. I can't think. It's not humble. It's is it? I'll say low self-esteem, and then you can tell me if it's a synonym.
I think our strategy should be, if it's close but not quite, you hold out until everyone has guessed.
I'll say it's close. I'll let it go around if nobody gets closer.
Okay.
Who's would be next to Chris?
So it's my turn. I'm going to say self-conscious.
Similar to what I said.
Pretty much. Then to the knight.
See, I saw a little bit of difference in there, but
I don't know. What do you got there, knight? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, Jason, you're muted.
I'm muted. That was censored. Matt censored me, I think.
PG-13.
PG-13. Melancholic was the sense I was getting, but that may have been the drink.
But it's not.
Okay. I'm going to fire off depressed.
It is not. I'll give to Phoebos because I'm very, very insecure.
Okay.
That's the word I was looking for, but I just put.
And it's not my colors. I only got 2.
So do you get 2 or 3 points?
2 because it's not my color, right?
But did you get the extra one for going to the tavern?
Yes.
You grabbed that at the beginning.
I got it as well.
Now, you have to, Gil, try to guess what Phoebos was, which God knows.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
I would say...
I think I got something in there a little bit.
He's generous.
It's very similar to your scenario. So I think let's go around, see if someone gets any closer. But it's not really generous, but it's kind of close.
All right. So the next one would be the knight. It looks like.
It's kind of like generous, but not generous.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair.
Fair, yeah. Self-effacing. I have nothing. I've got nothing.
You know nothing.
I am also I'm going to pass this one because I have no idea. That is a great. Gracious is a good one, but I don't know that.
Yeah, I thought generous, so that was mine. I don't have anything to give.
Flip it.
Go ahead, Phoebus. Say that one more time.
It's helpful.
Help.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
so generous would work
Okay.
there.
Yeah. All right, Gil. Look at you racking up some points. this
Yeah,
round.
late game surge from Gil or that corner of the table.
What color was that?
Yes.
Well, you only score the bonus points for color when it's your color, right?
Oh, okay.
When you're
Yeah,
the
that's
one
why I was-
acting it.
Let's see. So now I have to choose one of you.
Yeah, you do.
Let me see chip counts.
No.
You might say that.
It's all kind of
I'm at
pretty
8.
close.
There's nothing in the rule that says I need to disclose how many I have.
Gil being competitive.
I have 7, I think. I'll just full disclosure.
This is a really close game then at this point. Okay. I am going to go with Gil. I'd like Gil to be the person who joins me in the town hall.
Town hall. My goodness, this
hall.
blacksmith get around.
That's the rumor, Gil.
Yeah, I was gonna say
All the horses,
scrubbing pots and
all the horse in its shoes, and they're all like wobbling around town,
because he's over at other places.
drinking and fornicating and all that stuff.
Graffiti on the town square wall.
Yes.
All right.
For a good
so
time, call the blacksmith.
that's right.
Chisel. I use a chisel at the wall.
All right. And then
So it looks like the scene is applying for a permit. So let's say
Like for a permit.
do what, Phoebus?
Just laughing at the scene. So who's applying for a permit for what?
I think they both are, and they're in line at the same time, debating over who gets to go first.
okay.
Curse cards?
I want to curse you, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
cursing's coming. You know the curse is coming. That was a given, right?
Let's see.
I think I'm gonna do this one.
All right.
Oh,
looks-
Lord.
So for the blacksmith, for Gil, the curse of Babylon, you must. Babylon. Yeah, I just saw baby and I got confused.
I
Words
like
are really
Babylon.
definitely.
That's Babylon's
You must
classic.
speak. You must speak in baby. I've changed.
Baby.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
countering that. I'm countering that on Gil.
Thank you.
Oh.
Wait,
Can
can we
I-
play more curses?
Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
so
Well,
if
let's
you
just keep
counter, you
going.
can do another one.
Yeah.
Now,
So
can
I'm
we?
gonna play
Can
this
one
one.
curse only have one curse at a time, or can it be multiple curses?
One curse at a time, but if it gets removed, you can replace it with another
Yeah.
Okay. Now what is it?
Great.
The
That's
curse
not
of wisdom.
bad.
Stare into the distance while speaking. Okay. And then the town wizard is now a werewolf and must perform a
Mid.
transformation.
Mid.
All right.
All right. So
Hey,
we're playing for.
you know, if you double click on the cards, it zooms in, right?
Space.
You can
space
press
bar.
space on it.
Same thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
All right.
double click it better though.
And you all get 2 minutes, right?
So, ready?
Yes.
2, 1, go.
Oh well. It is. Where's the line? Where's the line? Permits. Permits. Maybe.
Oh, where's my stuff? No, that's not it. Let's see. Not
well,
it.
I am here to apply
Not
for
it.
I'm here to apply for
Let's see.
a
I need to find.
permit. I'm here to apply for a permit. Yes,
I need a
that's it.
permit too, and I
Um,
can find my permit.
No,
Not it.
look at the bird. Look at that bird over there. Look at the bird.
Not this. I can't find the papers for my permit. Hey, found it. Hey, I do have medicine though. I found it just a second here. There you go.
A permit. I need a permit, and I like
Um,
some beer too. I like a beer.
I cannot see. Okay, not it either. I can't find the paper for my turn.
Where is?
God damn it, sir! Do you have some paper that you could
Look
borrow
at that
from a
pretty-
thing
look
under
at that
that
pretty
fur of
bird.
yours?
Look at the pretty bird.
Do you have a pen that I can take under that fur of yours? Oh, God damn it!
What was
Where did
I-
I
what was
leave
I-
all that paper?
What am I doing here again?
Wait! I found it. I think I found it. I think I found the paper. Oh, not it either. Sir, I think it's your turn.
Where's that bird? Where's that bird?
God damn it! That's
All right,
the longest 2 minutes of my
It was,
life.
that was very long. To me.
Gil, I am impressed about how many
So-
things you have in your clothes.
All right.
Who wants to guess first?
I think I need Will to guess what the hell Gil was doing.
Unorganized.
It's very close. I almost want to give it to you. I will give it to you because it's close enough.
Okay. What do you think mine was? It's tough. See, it's really tough for the people that are. I love that you did this, Phoebos, by the way. I love that the two people that are talking in and acting out this scene also have to sort of be, they have to be mindful of that they're doing the acting, but then
Right,
they're
but
also
they
have to be
also have to
mindful of
be-
what the other person is saying and trying to zone in. And
Right.
it's really easy for the people that are reading to each other to miss it, and it gives people that were watching a better chance
Right.
of getting the
Especially
points.
when you add those curse cards in, right? Like you're trying to add an extra layer of keeping track.
I want to say absent or distracted. I mean, I have to choose one of the two. I'll
For
say
wait, for me,
yeah.
you got it.
Absent.
You got it 100%.
All right, we both.
You got it. You got distracted.
Yeah, that was my word for you. So what was yours, Gil?
Mine was messy.
Oh, man.
And I said unorganized, right?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think that's a pretty good synonym.
So how does this score then for us this
I
time
get
around?
3 because it's my color. Do I get 2 more for guessing his card?
Yeah, exactly. So you score each one separately.
Oh, nice.
So same thing happened on my end. Is my color was green, so I get 3 for that, right?
Yep.
2, so 5 in total.
And then 2. Okay. Oh wow.
I do have to pick up quite a few things now.
Yeah,
the
Gil
floor.
has to be reorganized his house. Again, Gil, I was impressed with how many things were within reach of you that you just did.
Oh, I still have things to throw away.
And I saw the Grover comment. A lot of people say Raymond from Everybody Loves Raymond. Ray Romano.
okay.
Ray Romano, my voice.
Those were very long 2 minutes. A minute
Yeah, that
is
did
short,
feel
but
like
2
that.
minutes can be very long too. It can be detrimental a little bit too. Like you just run out of.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like, could you actually could the two people agree that it's like, okay, end scene? Like, if they feel like they got enough time in. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
Yeah,
pretty phenomenal stuff. Though.
Do we count up now, Phoebos?
And that was the last interaction, right? So that's the end of the second round. So now we just count our gobbly heads to see who won.
Okay.
Oh, I had 8. so
Because
I'm
I've got
pretty
9.
low.
$14.
Think he'll took it.
How many did you have there, Will?
12. I was in the back of my head, and I don't know if you have this treasure card, but a treasure card that actually stops the final interaction, like the pairing. You could like counter it and make them name another player. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're it only works in the 5-player game, but like where you're that 5th player, almost like a counter card that stops that pairing, or even if you do it like you play a treasure card before the play happens, before the role play happens, and even if they're in like the same space, you can shuffle spaces force them to shuffle and force 2 other players to do the role play. Just because I think that, like, especially like later, like in the second round, that'd be pretty powerful in my opinion, like a treasure card to do.
Yeah, if you use it at the right time, the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of a Grover werewolf there, wasn't I?
Yeah, some of these were interesting. I didn't even really pay attention. This curse let me play rock, paper, scissors with another player. And
that's so that'd be physical, but still, like, I like that. I like the staring off into space because then you make eye contact with the person.
Yeah.
Because I think in a
we have this
real
one where just like the title.
Okay, what's that? Play button. What is it where you're like boop?
Play and just go all of your okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this one was interesting. Excessive hand gestures, and then this one was must pretend to furiously bite their fingernails the entire.
I love the curse of the dum.
I was happy that he countered baby talk, because that's gonna. I was like, oh no.
I was happy that I had the counter in the last round, so I could play it on you, so it wouldn't be as hard for me to guess you.
Oh, nice, good strategy there. That's interesting.
Because I technically could have played it on myself, but technically I don't want people to really guess me. I want to be able to guess, so I end up with point advantage in the last round. Theoretically, hopefully.
That's actually an interesting point. What I've noticed is that the people that tend to win are not necessarily the ones that role play the best, but the ones that guess.
Yeah.
Well, because the funny thing is, like, you're at a disadvantage if you're the player that role plays well, because that means that it's more likely that people will guess the correct answer if you're doing it properly. And there's actually, I mean, not that your friends would do this, but I mean, I have friends that might, where they intentionally role play incorrectly, and so that people don't guess the right answer. And sure
Gil, that's clearly Gil, right?
If you role play correctly and you role play the right word, this is the way to get the maximum points, right?
That's true. You get like a bonus.
3 points, and there's no other way to get 3 points.
Oh, that's true. You're right. Then that's why you have that system built in there.
Yeah,
all right.
I can see like
questions?
variants on this game where you can make teams where they can act together and stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, and the other interesting component is the physicality of. I mean, we have cameras so we can see each other, but it's slightly different than being in the same room, because there's things you could be doing with like moving around the room and charades.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
can you put it at a bar scene, right? Like you're downstairs or somewhere and you next to it and you just pretend to use the counter or bar as part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think we express a lot of mannerisms and stuff entire body too, right? Like Will said it, like we have our cameras and we can see, but you're only seeing this part of me, right? So like,
right.
You can,
thanks goodness.
if you're, this is the good half's down here. That's inappropriate. I apologize. But it wasn't meant to be. I said that thinking I was being quippy,
like
and then I
said it, and then I heard it come out.
Right? Yeah, that I just inappropriate. This is where Matt takes me off the show. Yeah, actually, the best part of me is right here. So I don't know what you're saying.
Yes, I think all of us would agree on that one, right?
But I think because if you're distracted, right, or it's being able to move around, and like I saw Will do that a little bit with like, where's that bird over there, and being able to do a little bit of that would be interesting.
Yeah, microphone only would be very difficult for this online, obviously. You would need camera interaction, which I mean we talked about before. I'm going to throw this out there, Phoebos. What's your take on the Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator situation? As an outlet for people to play games, or is this something you feel threatened by as a designer, or is it something that you feel helps you as a designer in getting your product out to people that might not ever be able to play it?
I mean, my initial reaction is that I like it. I think that it's convenient for people when they're traveling. I don't think it's going to replace tabletop games. I think that it's great for what it is. You're going on a holiday and you bring your iPad with you, and that way you have, like, I don't know, hundreds of games instead of just one. It allows us to do what we just did.
Right.
And that was really fun,
I think it's a powerful tool for design to play test games too, right?
Right.
Send it to people that are all over the place, because sometimes, like, not even close friends, but a region has some mindset that are very similar. But when you have people with different backgrounds and stuff, I think it's a good way to.
I would say as recent as 5 years ago, Gil, and you probably agree with this. The only way to really play test your games is to set up play test groups around the country, and in some cases you would have to make a tour as a designer or developer and hit up all these local game stores, try to get a variety of play testers. Whereas now, with Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator at your fingertips, you could just blast an email, somebody that's already following your email blast messages for your company, and say, hey, listen, if you want to be a part of a beta weekend, jump on Tabletopia or Table Sim this weekend. We're running 4 or 5 different tables. And then then the other cool thing, power of the internet here, you send out a survey, like SurveyMonkey or whatever, following that play test session. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. You don't have to spend the days of old where you had to sit at a table and okay, did you like this? Now, why did you not like it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think the other thing with that too is that if you have a change you want to make, how easy is it to do that too, right? It's, all right, cool. Instead of, redesigning and recreating, you can just, a new custom, you could put a token in and be like, all right, here's what this represents for the time.
I think technology in general, right? Like a lot of the games I get to review that are still prototypes, some of the games are amazingly, I was like, this thing could be in the store already,
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, I think and Phoebes probably can talk this better than us since he's making the game, but
Absolutely.
and Jason as well, is like the quality of like printers and stuff like this, and even card cutters that are affordable. I'm thinking about buying one for myself to do some stuff for myself. It's the technology has allowed us with tablets, apps, and all this, and also the vehicle to produce prototypes.
Right.
It's so much better. Yeah, I mean, I have like 3 or 4 games that I'm gonna review that I look at the box and say, wow, this thing is this is really well made already.
Yeah.
Well, the unfortunate part to that, though, Gil, is you have, because it's become so cost effective to produce those demos, you have this expectation now that before a random stranger is demoing something in person in the material world, they expect it to be that level of quality. Maybe not polished, but a fairly finished product that they're looking at before you get strangers, which is why the Tabletopias and the Tabletop Simulator, if you can do something there, it's so helpful, because you can do a lot more in there, and people seem to be a little more forgiving with the digital assets than they are with the real life assets.
Absolutely. And I guess really what I was, Phoebos, what's your take on it? Like, what is your playtesting for this game and your other game that what is your preferred route and method of playtesting? I mean, what is the best tried and true where you feel you got the best feedback?
So, to be honest, I am very lucky, because in London we have a group called Playtest UK. I'm not sure if you heard of them, and it's just amazing, right? You get brutal feedback quite quickly. There's a lot of groups meeting on kind of weekends, daytime, so that's really helpful. I also have a group of friends that playtest board games, we just play board games together, and every now and then I will bring my games to them. And then there are some other people that live in other countries that are my friends again, and they play board games, and we use Tabletopia for role playing. One of the things that I struggle with is that I like to get it as nice looking as possible, and it's just really not. It's not worth the time when you're going to change everything right after that game.
So you're saying early like iterations of a game, you want to put artwork on it before you've really hashed out a lot of the mechanics, just because you want something that looks nice. You might survive like a month of like something like this where you just have cards with words on them, but beyond that, you want to get some shiny stuff on there before it's.
And I don't think playtesters expect it. I think it's just I think I do it for psychological reasons more than anything else.
So my argument there would be playtesters in the classic definition of playtesters do not, but some of the new generation of playtesters that are entering the board game market are now expecting near beta level hashed out games. I saw it at Unpub this year. This was the first year I went to Unpub, and a lot of the feedback from people from Unpub didn't like that aspect of it, because a lot of people are like, these are supposed to be unfinished games, and some of the things they were seeing were like Kickstarter ready, and like,
I'm about to whip this out here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but for me, for example, I'm not a playtester, right? I'm a reviewer, so review the design, the cards, if the text makes sense. Those things are part of reviewing a game. So it kind of makes a difference. I never expect that. I mean, I've done a lot of print and play, and sometimes I would digitalize everything and do everything on Premiere. Instead of reviewing the game, I would just do all electronics. But it does make a little difference when you're looking at a pre-finished product, and you can talk a little better, because when you present a product to your audience, you want to make sure you're like indicating something that when they get, they said, "Oh, that guy said this was amazing," and then it's not. So there is like it's a sword of two edges, right?
Oh yes, yeah.
When you're doing the reviews, you try to give as much information out as possible. So it's always difficult. Yeah.
So go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
I was going to follow up with what Gil was saying and what you were alluding to earlier, Will. What you want to get at when you're going through the mechanics is that alpha test group, right? To look at the alpha of the game and really work through the mechanics. But I found it was very hard to find folks that were willing to do that. And by the time you got to the next level where you're trying to get the beta test, well, then those folks, they want to see a product that's 60, 75% to where it's going to be at the end.
Right.
They don't want to play on like you held up the little note cards. When we were doing ours, I was taking old decks of playing cards and scribbling over the top of them, so I'd have a card that could be manipulated to run through testing.
Yeah.
Theoretically, an alpha group should be fine with that, but it's hard to find those folks.
Everybody wants to be a playtester in both video games and in board games, but not many of them really understand what goes into like a true playtest. And I think that, my term that I use every once in a while is a bro gamer. The people that enter the scene that, like, back when in Xbox with like Halo, when that became popular, Madden for PlayStation got popular, you got this archetype of like the bro gamer that came in that was like, yo, dude, I'm going to be in this beta and it's going to be sweet. And it's you're seeing it happening a little bit more in the board game industry now, because a lot of the prettiness and the shined design that's coming through is attracting a lot of those gamers as well, or the crossovers for like the Fallout game coming to the board, the table. And you're getting this sort of flow of like the more and more casual gamer that wants that inside experience, but doesn't want to put the work in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the feedback that you're getting from some of those gamers, the beta testers, and this isn't a slam on beta testers, put their time into it, but it's not necessarily constructive. Here's an asset of the game that we were working through and it didn't work for us, and here's why it wasn't working for us. It's just, this game sucks. This isn't worth playing.
Yep.
And you run into that, which I think is kind of interesting, that folks are saying, well, beta test or you're in a market like the Kickstarter, like Phoebos, you just went through your campaign, and you have this real mix of folks who are on both ends of the spectrum. Those who think when you put on Kickstarter, well, that's really just your sales pitch and I'm getting first access to buy a game. And those who go, no, we have a good demo so you can see what it is, but we're not done. And you're looking at 9 months of production yet to finalize the artwork and everything to get the game out.
Right.
And you have some really strong critics who come down on both sides of that in a very destructive way, I think, sometimes.
Right.
So what is the expectation? What when are you guys thinking of starting shipping the game ish? Because it's
6 months. 6 months after the date he put up on Kickstarter. right, Phoebos. The timeline. I guess Gil was asking Phoebos, what's your timeline? What are you looking at? Do you feel? Is there anything that you can't be? You're not clairvoyant, so you can't know exactly what's going to happen at the production process. But what are you foreseeing will be your timeline for shipping the product after the Kickstarter?
Struggling a little bit to hear you.
Sorry.
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Phoebos, the question was, what is the timeline on the product release?
Or you sound like a robot for a minute, but I heard what's the timeline of the product. So is that yeah? I see thumbs up. So so one of the things we're trying to do to push the timelines area as possible is we've done all of the graphic design already. So before the campaign ends, we're going to start doing the artwork confirmation with our manufacturer. So we'll go through that initial part of the process just to save time. We will change some cards, because I don't know if you guys have seen that, but we are taking feedback from people on some of the curses and coming up with some new ideas, etc. So we'll have some small changes as a result of the campaign. We're planning to deliver in April, which actually is quite a lot of time between now and April, but we're going to try and be as efficient as possible with all the timelines. So when it goes to the manufacturer, they will start producing it, and we've looked at all the different parts that takes, and we've taken the maximum possible times. Then we looked at shipping, and again, when they say, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks, we take the 8, and then we add another one just in case.
Right.
With the worst case scenario everywhere.
Right, prepared for those contingencies.
I would tell you one word of wisdom, that because I back so many things on Kickstarter at this point, and I've had conversations with a lot of creators that have gone on there. It's almost at this point, there's an oversaturation at the manufacturing end of things, where the estimations that they're giving are not, they're rarely accurate at this point. And especially not only them, but on the back end distribution, like Quartermaster, places like that, they're also struggling to keep up with the games that are coming into them at this point. And they'll give you timelines because they want your product. They want to be the ones to handle it. But I'm hearing some horror stories from creators that those timelines are not being met, and then the ball is in your court to deal with all those angry people. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Have you heard the same thing, or?
I mean, yeah. So I've heard it more a little bit for the manufacturing side, but from talking to other designers, I think there's a bigger issue with the distribution at the moment.
Yeah.
And we have backup plans for that as well. Good. So we are looking. I mean, it doesn't seem like our numbers will be completely unmanageable for us to do with, we could bring a couple of people in and get all the stuff in and use Royal Mail, which I think other people have done. I think villagers are doing that, and they've got like a lot more than us.
Okay.
So talk a little bit about go ahead, sorry.
What I'm saying is our number one, our option A is actually working with a a distributor that we've vetted, and they seem to be doing all right now. So I'm pretty comfortable with them, but I have a plan B.
Okay.
So some of the add-ons you have there, I'm seeing the dice. Those are not things that you're actually going to use in the game, right? Or you're into...
It's just we just wanted to add something RPG related.
Okay.
Yeah, so we wanted to do these dice anyway, and we offered some of them as well as a little thank you. So we just wanted to make it available for everyone else in case they wanted it.
Cool. All right. Well, we're running up on our time here, and I know Will is about to go stream.
I guess so.
He is something, right? Will, if you what we'll do for the audience here is, if y'all are still around, go ahead and give a few minutes of your time. We'll let Will pop on his stream, and then we'll kind of jump in and join him for a minute with the group. But on behalf of myself, Happy Fun Time Live, Will's, Jason, Gil, and Phoebos, thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight, and have a great one.